What is up, New World players? It is I, your wheelman, Alex Cornnut. I'm here today with my Bible, my everything you need to know guide after 100 hours of learning how to play this game that I wish a lot of people would have told me when I started. I'm new to MMOs, and I think like a lot of you guys on consoles specifically, this might be your first one too. There's a ton of terrific information out there, deep dives into everything. But there's a lot of assumed knowledge that I think the community as a whole, the new guys, maybe don't have. And I'm here to bring you dudes up to speed with that. I've got a lot of tips, a lot of tricks, and I guarantee there's something here for you, no matter where you're at in the game. So let's go. Let me show you what I've got. The first tip that I have for you guys is two websites that I think is very important that you utilize. Quality of life out the wazoo. The first is newworldmap.com, link down below. Not sponsored by anybody, so shout out to me, but it's amazing. When you are definitely going to go need specific resources or go farm, certain animals, whatever it might be, this is the website to go to. So if there's an ore that you're chasing after, like maybe you want to go find mithril, this shows you where all those veins are at. You can zoom right in, put a marker on your map inside the game, and then go there. And so that's really, really handy. In addition to that, this has got a lot of other great info, like where bosses and stuff are at. So just as you progress through the game, if you ever have a question on a location of something, a good place to go. In addition to that is nwdb.info. This is the New World Database Bible website. It's got everything in the game. The game has been out for 3 years, so even though we're brand new to it as console players, and some of you guys that are on PC coming back to it for the first time maybe, the information's already there. So all you have to go is find it. And one thing I thought was amazing that I want you guys to check out is crafting guides. So eventually you're going to come to a point where you're like, I would really like to have that item, and you're not a high enough level to go and craft it. This is a how-to, very straightforward on how to achieve whatever you want. So let's just say you want to go and do some arcana, you want to go make a potion that's at a higher level than where you're at. How do you get there? This is how to do that. You have the ability to import information from your server that you are playing on. So I personally am playing on the Arctica server right here. So I'm going to import the prices from that server. What that does now is, from 0 to level 1, I'm going to make an ice gauntlet. And it tells me that's going to cost me $27 if I go buy all the resources myself. After that, from level 1 to level 25, I'm going to make 117 common health potions. So I'm going to go buy common alkahest and bulrush cob. You're going to get those from the market and the trading post in the game. I'll show you where that's at. Obviously, you'll figure it out as well. But in addition to that, you're like, well, what's bulrush cob? Maybe I can go farm that. Click on it. When you click on it, it tells you what it is, how big the stacks are, what it weighs, what the ingredient type is, and then it's used as a crafting material. And it comes off of a bulrush, like a small one or a medium one. You can come back to the map and search for that. So you can go over here to plants, and you can be like, I need the herbs, or I need the spin fibers, or cooking ingredients. Depending on what you need to go find, bulrush, whatever, it's here. And so you have the ability to hone in specifically on the stuff that you need to find to progress the game faster, to get leveled up quickly, and that's awesome. So now that you have your guides, let's get into the game and let me show you all of the cool stuff that I have for you. The first setting, once we actually get into the game, I want to show you guys is how movement works in this game. There's two ways to do it. The stock way is how I have it right now, and I'm going to change it. I want you guys to do it too. Right now, if we were attacking the cauldron and we were in a battle, and then I wanted to flee, I'm going to run away from me, but I want to continue to look at the cauldron to make sure it's not going to attack me. Right now, if I'm running away from the cauldron, it's actually running backwards. It's kind of that back strafe. And if I do dodge while I'm running backwards like that, it's kind of that weird back step. That is not as efficient as I think it could be. I actually want my character to run away, but I want to continue to look at the cauldron. So go into your settings, press escape, go to the cogwheel, go into settings, under game, first tab, scroll down, it's right here, under gameplay, turn freeform movement on. With that being on, here's what you now have. I'm fighting the cauldron, I now want to run away, but look at the cauldron. Now I'm actually running the direction I want to travel and not running backwards. It's a very different maneuver. It allows you to have a little more control over your character, and then if you're running away and you want to mount up or do whatever, you now have the ability to have a little more freeform movement, and it's super handy. So I guess that's tip 2 for you. To continue talking about the movement, this game has got a really great feature. It's called lock on. So originally, if I was attacking this boar and I wanted to run away from the boar, I just do that. You can lock on to the boar, and for me it's middle mouse button or R3 if you're on a controller, and then your character is going to strafe backwards. So when you're locked on and in combat on any given thing, your character will run backwards, but as soon as you break that lock on and then you want to run away faster, you can do that. So you have the ability to have both, and I wanted to show you that. I think the lock on ability, you guys, is mission critical for a plethora of different reasons. I like to use the blunderbuss. The blunderbuss itself is accurate. It's great if you get headshots, but if you don't land your shots, it's worth nothing. If you are not locked on, you have to be kind of, running around trying to keep your target on whatever it is. It can be difficult, especially when your target is moving. When you get into PvP or you get into higher level stuff, that target moving around can be kind of difficult. If you lock on, you can then move around it, and you can roll, you can dodge, you can jump, you can look behind you, you can jump around, you can have a cup of coffee, you can stay locked on while continuing to move. And so you're going to do less damage by not getting headshots with the lock-on feature, but if you were using a melee weapon or anything that is not super precise, the lock-on feature is essentially a cheat code, and I really, really encourage you guys to start using it. It's not the meta. The meta is landing headshots. But if you want to be efficient and not miss any shots, lock-on is pretty sweet. So that's what I'm going to recommend for you guys. There's going to be a lot here. I'm going to do the best I can to keep it simple and not overwhelm you. So just stay with me, okay? To simplify armor, you have your actual armor, you have your weapons, and then you have bonus augments such as different jewelry pieces, okay? At the end of the day, the game is going to drop you all of this. The game is going to provide you as a player with better gear that is very similar in type to what you currently have equipped. If you are using a staff, mage's fire staff, and maybe a musket, the game is going to continue to drop you those two weapons more than anything. If you have equipped heavy armor for your helmet and a light chest piece and medium boots and light pants and some kind of special shield, the game is going to drop you those items. So I would encourage you as a player to identify what type of armor set you want, such as light, medium, or heavy. And then once you have that spec, the game is going to continue to drop those things. Experiment with everything. The light armor set, meaning you have lightweight armor. Each armor piece has a weight requirement. You'll see that that's 4.7. You'll see that that chest piece is 11. You'll see that those gloves are 4.7. And you'll see that those pants are 6.3. So each thing contributes to the total weight of your build. I can switch out my chest piece, which weighs 11, for this other one, which weighs nothing. By doing that, I've taken my weight from what was 35 down to, or 36, down to essentially 25, so it's a lot lighter. This is a heavy armor piece, so if I switch out my heavy armor headgear with this lighter augment, I can't use that one, I can do this one, I can switch that one. That now puts me into the medium weight class. So play around with different armors. The heavier armor you have, the more resistance you have, you're just slower, but you're a lot more tanky. So find out what kind you like, build into that. There's tons of other guides on what armor is good. I'm not going to do that to you, but I do want you to be aware that what weight you have determines how your character performs. I like heavy stuff, you might like light stuff. Make sure that you spec your character for success and you're putting stuff on your character that's going to give you the best overall for your gameplay style. You're like, Cornnut, wait, you're getting ahead of yourself. Light, medium, heavy armor. Okay, I kind of get it, but what character do I pick, Cornnut? What's the best? It doesn't matter. This game is really structured very cool. You are not locked in to anything. You can change your weapon very freely You can change your armor types very freely. And you're like, well, there's those boosts, those stats. What stats do I want, Cornnut? You're going to take all of your stats and you're going to level them up far beyond level 50. So all you're doing is you're picking a couple of stats that your character is already going to be proficient in, but like, it's not that big of a deal. All of your crafting and refining all of your trade skills, they level up to 250, okay? So when you're picking 3 random ones, or what seems to be random, and you get to start at level 50, you're essentially starting with a 20% boost on 3 skills. There's a lot of skills here, and you're gonna level all of them up. You'll see all of them are above level 50, so you'd never know what I started with. And that's my point. It doesn't really matter what you start with, because as you get towards the end, certain things are gonna be leveled up based on what you play with. I might recommend maybe picking a skill that you want to have an advancement in. You're like, I know for sure I'm going to be crafting a lot with wood and doing a lot of logging and selling the timber or whatever on the marketplace, so I want to be able to log stuff faster. Okay, cool. Or you might be good at mining, or you want to scale right into furniture, whatever it might be, harvesting, cooking, you name it. You might pick a skill that you don't want to spend any time with, so you'd like to have a boost. Or you might pick a skill that you want to spend a lot of time with and you want to master it quickly, so you pick that for your boost. It doesn't really matter. It's very easy. They're all going to level up as you use them, and it's very easy to level them up as you target them using the maps and the other things that we talked about earlier. So that being the case, now that we got the pressure out of the way on what character you're going to pick, because it really doesn't matter, you're going to have fun regardless. You're like, well, Cornnut, but they start with different weapons. The moment that you have access to a different weapon drop, or the moment you get to a town you can buy any weapon you want, they're like 1 gold for the base level weapon, you're good to go. And like I said earlier, based on what your character is holding, that is what the game is going to drop for you. And so if you want to start working with a bow, for example, just get a base level cheap bow, and then the game will drop you better ones, and then you're good. And then you're like, man, I'm kind of done with the bow. Switch to a life staff, and then the game will drop you more life staffs. So level up different things. Level 20 is the maximum for these weapons. Get a weapon to level 20 and then switch, especially if you're not at 65 yet. Like, try to level up as many different weapons as you can, so that way you get a feel for what the different combat types are like, and you can kind of hone into what you enjoy the most. Pick a primary, and then I would say there's a secondary that scales with it. What I mean by that is this. Your armor and your weapons go hand in hand with one another. So as you are leveling different weapons, you're going to want to have an armor type that kind of works with that. What I mean is not light, medium, or heavy, but what it does. So you'll see that those gauntlets, or those gloves, they give plus 15 to strength and plus 15 to dexterity. You'll see that my helmet gives a plus 31 to strength. You'll see that my pants give a plus 31 to strength. So different armor types give different boosts. So you might intelligence or dexterity or constitution, which is your health. So depending on what stat you are needing, you're going to want armor that goes with that stat. Safe bet is constitution. If you have a bunch of armor that just gives you life, you can use all of your stat points for whatever buff you need. So I have a blunderbuss. It pairs with strength. You'll see at the bottom there it says scales with strength and intelligence down here. And then I also have a flail, and it scales with strength and focus. So because the primary stat for both of those weapons is strength, I can put all of my stat points into strength, and it's going to give me the best boost to those weapons. So let me show you what I mean. If we look at this, I have all my points pulled out. We have 220 points available. I have 314 points in strength already. So all of my armor has all those extra points of strength. So out of the gate, just based on my armor, I already have a lot of the bonuses that come from that. And then I have 220 points to play with. So constitution is your health. I would put, 50 or 100 or however many points of constitution in. And then I'm going to add the rest of the points into whatever my weapon types are. So you'll see that this gun, it scales with strength. So I'll put in strength. You'll see that both the flail and the blunderbuss, this is their damage. It's going up. Well, I do know that the blunderbuss also scales with intelligence. So I could add some points to intelligence, and you'll see that the blunderbuss is getting stronger, but the flail is not. So putting a lot of points into intelligence kind of helps the blunderbuss, but it doesn't help the flail at all. And so you'll see above each one of these things, next to the title of strength, dex, intelligence, there's these like all the different weapons. It tells you right here how they scale and what attributes you need based on what you're using. So pick two that work together and you're gonna have a lot of success. You don't have to, but that's the best way. So if you're gonna scale strength, you can use the sword and the shield, the great axe, the hammer, the great sword. All of this stuff scales with strength. If you want to play a dexterity build, the bow, the musket, the rapier, all these things scale with dex. And so whatever your weapon type is, come in here and make sure you apply points based on what weapons you're using. That way you're going to be able to do the most damage with whatever it is. Pretty big recommendation there. It can be a little complicated, but try to keep it simple. Basically go, okay, I need 50 points of constitution, throw your points in there. Make sure your armor is whatever weapon you're using. Make sure it scales, so everything scales with strength. I've got armor that says strength. Cool, you're good. You're like, well, Alex, we're talking armor. How do I get the armor that I want? I would recommend every 10 or 15 levels going and spending 50 or $100 at the marketplace and buying a new armor set. So let me show you what the trade post looks like. The trading post is like my favorite place in the game. Spend a lot of time there. But for what I would like you guys to utilize, just learning the game, use it for your gear. Your gear score is this number right here. It's kind of a pulse check on where all of your armor falls, but it's a really easy way for you to quickly just highlight over this and see if you have a piece that is low. So I've done this and I saw that at one point my helmet was a green one and everything else was like blue and purple, and my helmet was a couple levels lower, or the gear score number was considerably less than my other pieces. And so identify what your low ones are and then go replace those. Every 10 levels or so, recommendation, do whatever you want, whenever. Maybe never do this, but I do this often. Just find out kind of what your highest gear store item is. So I go, okay, my highest gear store item is 700. It's this necklace right here. So I want to search for gear that's at least 700 because that's where my minimum is at. So then I can come into here to the trading post. I can go to apparel. And then do I want light, medium, heavy? What kind of armor do I want? Well, I use heavy armor, but maybe you want to try light, whatever. Once I've selected that, I can isolate it to either just a head piece or a chest piece, whatever, or you can search for all of it. And I go, okay, well, I know that my minimum gear score is 700, so I want to do at least that. And I know that I'm scaling with strength right now, so I want all of the armor that I get to be at least 700 and also have strength. Let me search. Boom. There's every piece of armor for sale right now on the marketplace that scales with strength or has a strength stat and also is a minimum of 700. So those pants, it shows you that they're better, shows you that a strength and intelligence, shows you what they cost. These are very, very expensive because I just searched for 700. But you as a new player, you might be searching for something that's a gear score of like 450 because you're midway through, and 500 is the most you can do. And you're doing a dexterity build because you want to be some kind of crazy guy. You can go buy a purple helmet that is ranked gear score 537 for a level 46 guy for $4. You can get a whole set of armor for $50, weapon included. Go buy some gear, get your gear score up and run with it, and then come in after you've gone adventuring and done some missions and see, do you have a piece that's low? Go buy a better piece of whatever that is that you can equip. When you're in the shop, you can check can use, and then you can come in here and you can clear this out. You don't care what the gear score is. You know you need dex. You can put the minimum, like I don't want Baby Hut, Weenie Hut Junior level 200 stuff. I want at least level 600 stuff. You can do level 600 minimum, search for dex, apply that, and then it's only going to show you stuff that you can equip right now. It's a pretty cool thing. Let's talk tools and gathering resources. We've already got your armor set up, but don't forget about your other pieces of equipment that's on that second page. So as you play the game, you're going to want to level up your tools so you can mine faster, cut down trees quicker, skin animals faster, all of those things. And you can buy your tools just as easy as you can buy your weapons. So come in here, click on tools, click on gathering tools, and then find what whatever level that you can use and make sure you've always got the very best for your level. That's kind of a hard sell when you get to the top end because mythical stuff is very expensive. But in the early phases, once you're out of iron, because you'll probably craft your first iron axe, but after that, you want to make sure you go from iron, which this level right here, you're in iron at what, level 5, right? So then the next tier up would be steel. Steel you get into around level 20. You can actually, steel level 20, and then you get star metal, and you get that at level 40. So as you're going up, make sure you are either crafting or purchasing the best tier that you have. I would not spend additional money in the early game on a star metal logging axe that is better than another. I would buy the cheapest one there, call it a day. You don't care. There's no difference between this one that's 500 and this one up here that is 300. Save your money. You're only going to be using it for a little while. If you did want to get a little picky and search for something, I really like to search for the perk for luck. So if you type in logging, if you're looking for logging luck, I like this one. Logging luck right there. Search, apply. When you have logging luck, every time you're chopping down those trees, there's a chance that it's going to give you a better item, like a rarer one, a rare drop, and you can sell those or craft with it. So I like luck. Some people like efficiency. It's whatever. I wouldn't spend a lot extra, and luck doesn't really cost anything. But just make sure that on this tab 2, you are buying and leveling these up as you progress, because they are pretty huge. The next quality of life feature I need to show you guys is, once again on that second tab, it is the bags. You need to play through to unlock these. You get it early. You craft your first one at level 6. But these are huge. Like, I kind of slept on this early game. Do not sleep on this early, ever. Like, always have the best bag that you can, because it gives you the ability to carry so much additional weight. This green bag right here allows you to carry an additional 100 pounds of weight. Okay, that's not bad. But these ones allow me to carry 300 additional pounds. So between all 3 of my bags, I can carry an additional 700 pounds, which essentially doubles my carrying capacity. It allows me to adventure for quite a lot longer and be over encumbered quite a bit less. So I would super omega encourage you guys to keep tabs on your bags. Make sure you are leveling these up. Let's talk horses and mounts. At level 20, you unlock a mount. If you're on PC, you might need to buy the DLC, but if my console homies just got it, you've already got the mounts, dude. It's cool. Where that's at, it just makes you travel faster. You get from A to B quicker. And it's got an auto cruise feature, like you can just press the run button and it'll just follow the path. Kinda. It's like really buggy Tesla autopilot. But that being said, on the map, the horse mission that you need, you guys, is right here. It's right at the top of Everfall, just south of Brightwood. If we zoom in here, I've got this golden horse icon. That golden horse icon for you is probably going to be a golden horseshoe. Go there, do these missions, get your mount, traverse the map faster. It's all worth it. If you follow the quest line and do all of them, it makes it so your horse sees a little bit faster. I think it's worth it. And you can win all of the races by just pressing the sprint button and following the trail. It's really easy. So do those, get it done, enjoy, you're welcome. I'm about to hit you guys with a hot take. I think houses are bait, and you really should not look into getting a home until you are level 65 and really looking like what's next kind of thing. Because you need something to spend money on. Houses are very expensive, but it will gimp your ability to have resources in the early game for crafting and such if you spend all your gold on a house. And there's really no reason for it. Homes offer 3 separate utilities. You can fast travel there from anywhere on the map at any time, and you can reset the countdown immediately for like 20 or something Azoth. So it costs nothing to reset it. You can always fast travel there. That's pretty cool. That's a good utility. I'll show you a workaround. It's not quite as good, but at least I'll get you there. Utility 2, storage. If you buy the bigger homes, you can put large storage crates in it, and you can put a lot of stuff. I've got a really decent workaround for storage, which isn't as good as having it all in one spot, but you can be organized and we can work around that. So there's no reason for you to spend $15,000 on a house or $10,000 on a house or $5,000 on a house, because the chests are another $2,000 or $3,000 a piece, if not more, depending on what server you're on. So we buy the house for $5,000, buy another 3 chests for $7,000. Oh my God, like, do you really need to pay 13,000 gold for some storage? I don't think so. I sure don't. So if you don't need the fast travel spot and you're not really needing the storage, fast travel's nice, but is it worth the money? What else is there? Well, you can get trophies. Trophies are cool, but they're very late game, so I wouldn't worry about them too much early on. They're not going to make a big gameplay noticing difference for you. What I would recommend is using the town storage. That's the biggest reason you would get a house outside of the trophies and the teleportation, and I've got a very good way to be organized there, so let me show you what that looks like. Staying organized is omega important. Every city has its own storage shed. Let me show you my pro tips on how to stay organized so you can get the most out of this stuff. When you go to the city and you go into the storage shed, you'll see a menu that looks just like this. I utilize my storage shed in groups. So I put all of my utilities and I keep them together. So right now in Cutlass Keys, I keep all of my utility stuff here. So what I would do is, I just got the storage shed, I go to my utilities, okay, they're all there. I move all of my utilities here. Cool. I've also got other stuff I need to get rid of. So I would look, okay, I need to get rid of the regagents. So I'll go up to Brightwood. I'll move all of those over to Brightwood. After Brightwood, I'll go to Brimstone Stands. Okay, this is where I put all my weapons and my apparel. So I'll move those over. And then after Brimstone Stands, I'll go down to Clarion. And this is where my Arcana goes. So I'll go down here to my Arcana and just click the little arrow and move all of that over. The reason I have to do this is because I've got 700 pounds of just Arcana. I don't have enough room to store anything else with it. I mean, if I put my resources with it, I'd max out that storage shed pretty much. So each city kind of ends up getting its own groups of crafting resources. It's a little spread out and it's a little cumbersome to go and find what you need sometimes, but once you've done it and you start dropping all your stuff off every time, you'll get pretty proficient at it. My stone cutting stuff goes here. I don't have any on my person. Warren's Rise, that's where my woodworking stuff goes. I've already taken that off. Morning Wood, that's where my leatherworking goes. I've already taken those off. Monarch's Bluff, that's where my jewel crafting goes, so I would put my jewel crafting there. That's where my food goes, so I put my cooking over there. Oh, this is where my dyes and my furniture goes as well, so I put my dyes over there and my furniture. I also do weaving here. Do you see what I'm doing? So that way, if I'm anywhere and I need to craft something that requires weaving, I just need to find that one group, and I found all my weaving materials. If you've got some in Monarch's Bluff and some in Morningdale, and you've got some weaving material up in Clarion, it's really hard to like stay organized and know what you have to craft later. So I would recommend, pro tip, keeping all of your items in big clumps, all the Arcana together, all of the smelting stuff together. That way, when it comes time for you to do anything, you've already got it all grouped up. You know where to find it. It's really easy to deduce what you need to buy or what you don't need to buy, and you can just find it very quickly. Disaster if you don't. Good luck. Let's talk territory storage, and then I'm done. As we said, we're going to start maxing out these storage sheds. You're going to need to start moving stuff around. You can add space to these storage sheds. You can make the weight capacity go up. The way you do that is by leveling up your territory. If you go to the map and then on the left you see the territories tab, as you level up each individual territory, the corresponding settlement levels up with that, depending on which bonuses you pick. Each time it levels up, you get to pick a bonus. The bonuses are going to include stuff like increase territory storage or settlement storage by 25. It's like 25 pounds. There's another one that makes it so like your home upkeep is cheaper. The market, like trading and crafting, you can make it so that costs less in that settlement. You can make it so you level up faster in that territory. I would recommend staying away from that particular perk because once you reach max level, you'll have wasted all of those points and you cannot re-roll this or repick. So I wouldn't put points into something that you're not going to be able to utilize late game. I would recommend adding to your storage, maybe doing gathering, or making it cheaper to craft or own a home. Both of those make sense. I think crafting would be pretty sweet because some stuff's really expensive to craft late game. But keep that in mind as you go through this, as you level up. There's not a lot of nice ways to add storage to your character that is free. So as you level up each of the territories, when it gives you that free option, I would absolutely take it because it does add up and it's pretty huge. Another thing when looking at the overview map is over on the filters tab, you can filter a bunch of stuff. Like if you feel like this is really just way too convoluted, too complicated, you can start checking stuff that you want to see and what you don't want to see. Like if you don't want to see landmarks, you don't want to see the fast travels or the forts, whatever. Like if you don't want to see the side quests pop up, you can declutter the map a lot. But one thing I think that a lot of people don't click is the bottom option, which is faction influence. If you click that, we see all the colors of the rainbow, and this is the faction battle map, if you will. This shows which factions are controlling what zone, and this is kind of like the end game. I show you this because if you are level 30 or beyond and you don't know what I'm talking about, or you've not seen the screen and you don't know what a faction is, you need to join a faction. It is huge. There's 3 separate factions in every city. Let me zoom in here. You're going to see these different colored icons here, like the Covenant or the Marauders or the Syndicate. So, you know, you can be yellow, green, or purple. Doesn't really matter who you join. I don't care. Purple's best. What's up? You know that. But anyway, you can see on the map who controls what zone. We do PvP battles. We do the stuff. But as you're leveling, once you've joined one of the 3 factions, you can go and you can buy stuff from them. The way to join a faction is to, on the map, look for that faction's colored mission. It's not going to be in the city, so it's not the colored mission like icon in the settlement. It's going to be outside of the settlement like this one is, and it's going to show you a faction story quest right there. So that's my Syndicate story quest. That my green one right there is the story quest for them. And then that's the other story quest right there. So look for these icons. Decide who you want to shack up with. You can only change after 30 days or once every 30 days. So kind of pick one and stick with it. And start doing the missions and leveling them up. Once you've done the quest and you're joined in the faction, you can then go in the towns to your faction leader of whatever color you've joined and talk to them. Once you speak with them, they're going to give you a variety of different missions that you can accept. They're pretty easy stuff. It's usually like, go out and kill a couple of these guys or go do this, whatever. So just accept them. And as you level and go through them, you will get different rewards that you can purchase. When you get from level 1 to level 2, your progress stops until you go and you do the next faction mission. So right now, I'm at level 5. I have 0 more points to the next tier. So if I do these missions, it will not progress past that level 5 because I cannot move on until I go do this purple mission that I have on the map up here. So as you are progressing through your faction, whatever it is, when you get to the number and there's no more left to the next tier, make sure you go do that mission so that way you can level up. The rewards that they offer is fantastic in each of the factions, and this is kind of the meat and potatoes of the early game if you want to be efficient. Most of the gear is going to drop with a constitution buff, so that's your life. If you are speccing dexterity or intelligence, whatever, you want to convert that. The way you do it is this. You buy whatever item you want. So let's just say I want to get this coat and I want to spec it for dexterity. I would buy the coat and then I would find whatever rune here gives me a spec towards dex. So this one specs towards intelligence. This one specs towards focus. That one specs towards dexterity. So I would buy this coat and this rune. I would then take these items to the crafting station and I would put this rune into this coat, and then this coat would now have a plus 12 dexterity buff, not a plus 12 constitution buff. So you can kind of convert all this armor into whatever works best for you, which you're trying to level with. And that works really well. You can also purchase these boxes. When you buy this box, it's going to give you, I'll show you, one of these. And when you open it, it's going to give you an item. It looks like this strange bone. This bone is used for leveling up your skinning. So once you open one of those things and you're in the town, you can then go over to wherever the tanner is at. Let me see here. There's the tannery. So let me run over there really quick. I'll be with you in a second. We're here at the tannery. There's these different things. You could take your strange bone and you can craft this apprentice skinning research notes. When you craft it, it's going to immediately give you 800 tracking XP. And so it would probably level you up in the early stages or give you a lot of progress towards that next level. You can then find these other things. So you can get a novice skinning research, you can get a journeyman skinning research, and each one of these things is going to give you a buff towards research. Like, it's going to give you a bunch of XP. So if I crafted one of these, even though I don't need to, if I craft this unusual bone, it's going to give me 4,500 tracking and skinning XP. So in the early levels, that would have inevitably leveled me up a handful of times. So don't sleep on the rewards you can get from your faction. Buy the things to help yourself power level, and that'll help you get through the early stages much, much quicker. Pro tip, we're going to talk journal. The journal is basically just all your active missions. You can check these and pin these on and off, which will show up on the side of your screen. I would super recommend you go through these, get rid of missions you're not going to do, and track missions that you want to do. If you're trying to power level or maximize, look at the missions that are going to give you the most boon for your and bang for your buck. Like this mission gives me an amulet that right now I really don't need, and it rewards like 3,000 XP. I'm already max level and I don't really need that amulet, so I can abandon that. Like, there's no reason for me to even have that. But this orb of power in Great Cleave, this might lead to something that I need later. It's only 1 reward XP, so I'm sure that there's probably a quest chain down there. So look and see, like these orbs, I would definitely go do that mission because that orb is good to me. So look and see what you need, what it offers, check the ones you want to do, uncheck the ones you don't, and just try to focus on the things that are going to help you the most. And that is another way to just get you through the game and help you stay organized. 2 more things, and then I'll leave you. Season 6 is the season we're on. This is your season pass rewards. I'm not saying go buy it, but I am saying take a look at this because you're going to unlock stuff even if you're on the free track. You can kind of power level this or hyper focus on this if you would like. If you go to your journey, you're going to unlock these chapters as you progress. You can select any of these challenges and pin them as a mission, just like you would, like I just showed you. So if I need to do close 10 corrupted breaches, I can pin that so it reminds me. Once I've completed it, I come here and I click on it. It'll fill up this little disc. It'll give me some rewards. It'll further my season pass. It'll allow me to claim whatever the bundle is for each individual chapter, which is usually pretty good stuff, dark matter or whatever. And it's just a fun way to keep progressing. The journey's pretty solid. In addition to that, there's also the activity card. This is the bingo card. I just completed one, so I really can't show you, but as you go kill enemies or play songs or gather stuff, you're going to fill these up. Make sure you're coming in here periodically, clicking on anything that is blue. The way it works is if you do one of these things, like catch 3 rare fish, all of the hatchets on your card will illuminate, and you can pick one of them because you've done 1 hatchet skill. So the idea is you want to complete a line. Every time you complete a line, it will give you 1 wild stamp. So if you have 3, you can click on the 4th one and use a wild stamp, and then you'll get one right back, so it was kind of like a free stamp. The idea is you want to just complete your bingo card as fast as you can, fill up lines, you'll pick it up pretty quick. It's kind of fun. Outside of that, all that's really left is the activities. Do these periodically. These are your raids. You get boosted rewards twice daily on this stuff, and I think some of it's on a 12-hour window. It depends, but you can do these expeditions. They give you different rewards. They do rotate, and then they give you different crates based on the mutator bonus once you've done it once. And so see, I get a daily bonus, 0 of 2. I will get 2 of those per day, and it's worth it. And then you get attempts and stuff. This is kind of like end game 65 stuff, raids and whatnot. But in the early stages, as you are leveling up, you can do expeditions, and these are at level 25. So there's a lot of fun stuff you can do there. There's lots to be done. If you guys have any questions on specific stuff, drop a comment down below. If you somehow made it this long in the video, thank you. You're a legend. I hope you're doing well today. Hopefully I showed you something or expanded on something you didn't understand. There's hours and hours of content to be talked about, but this is a lot of stuff I really felt was very important as I was leveling. You guys have a great rest of your day. Click the like button down below if you haven't yet. I'd really appreciate it. Bye-bye.